Station Network.
Rebecca Perfect is here.
Oh, good morning.
Hello, my love. You have a brand new watch list.
I do indeed.
Everybody needs to get ready now. Pen and paper, shall we?
Let's go.
3.
Okay, so Harpz, earlier this week, we saw the launch of a new drama on BBC One called Dark Money. Have you heard about this?
I have.
Yeah, it's also available on iPlayer as a catch-up. So for anyone that doesn't know about this, it tells the fictional story of the Mensahs, who are an ordinary working-class family from North London, whose youngest son has recently finished filming a major Hollywood movie role.
Okay.
But the family's world is shattered when the son reveals that he was abused whilst out in America by a renowned filmmaker. So the drama is all about how they deal with this situation as a family and how it gets unravelled in this gripping 4-part series. So it stars Jill Halfpenny and comes from the director of Broadchurch and Humans, and looks to be, I think, the next big drama that everyone's going to be talking about. Yeah, I do. In fact, you know, we've been talking about this in the studio as well. And V, I know you've been watching the first couple of episodes, haven't you?
I have. I've seen them both.
And what do you think?
The casting is exceptional.
Yeah.
The little boy that plays the lead is very convincing.
Yeah.
And it is a lot about him, obviously, the story. It's gripping.
Yeah.
I would recommend it.
You're
Is
gonna
it
keep
emotional?
watching it?
Yes, 100%. It's
Is
definitely
it?
emotional, yeah.
Oh, I think sometimes we need a totes emotion.
Yeah, we do need a toast emotion. It's been a while since we had that one.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so where can we watch that?
We can watch that. We can catch up on it on iPlayer right now.
Awesome.
2.
Okay, so when a cast includes people like Bill Murray, Tilda Swinton, Adam Driver, and Steve Buscemi, I mean, you gotta be intrigued, right?
I am already. Go on, carry on.
Well, The Dead Don't Die stars all of these great actors and a whole lot more. And it follows the movements of a small town in the United States when one seemingly normal day, things start to get a little bit strange. And unfortunately for the townsfolk, no one foresees that the strangest and most dangerous threat of all is zombies.
Can I just say, I didn't expect you to say zombies. I really, really didn't like. So what is this then? I mean, is it a comedy? Is it a horror? What is it?
Well, are you scared of zombies in general?
I don't know if I'm scared, but I do like watching a good film about zombies.
Okay. Well, if zombies scare you, I think even in this comedic capacity, you might still be scared. Who knows?
Right, okay.
It is a comedy. It's a really quirky one at that. The thing is that this is a really slow, deadpan type of comedy. I'm not sure if you really would have got that from the clip, but essentially the apocalypse is happening and zombies are the biggest threat to mankind. And whether or not it's funny, I think, still remains to be seen. I've got to really mull this one over. I was a bit like, it's so slow and deadpan. I'm not sure if that's my type of comedy.
Yeah.
I actually really struggled through this. I think it's trying to be super quirky, but the jokes didn't quite land, and the audience, all we really, really wanted was just this little bit of action, and it kind of dragged a little bit throughout it.
It's a bit of a shame now, because you did mention that it's got a great cast. I mean, there are some good actors in this, though, no?
Yeah, and I will go and watch literally anything that has Bill Murray in it because he is so brilliant. Tilda Swinton, she probably is the most quirky actress out there, and she plays this Scottish funeral home director who is quite nifty with a samurai sword. I mean, what a random combination that is. We've also got Selena Gomez in this, also Iggy Pop. I mean, how strange is that?
Weird.
Rosie Perez is also in it. It is an amazing cast. It's one thing, though, to have an amazing cast, and it's another thing to have a film which doesn't quite entertain, which I think is a massive shame. So everyone might be talking about this one because of the cast, and I get that. But unfortunately, I think unless you're totally into this kind of quirky, deadpan type of humour, you'll probably struggle with this. And I hate to say it, but this is a movie which I got really excited by the poster more so than the movie itself.
You looked and you thought, yep, I am watching that.
It looks like such a cool B movie. It looks wicked. And
I think it's a bit deceiving then, the poster.
A little bit. Well, it does say what it's going to do, but it just makes it look funnier than it actually is.
Than it actually is. All right, okay. Well, what are we rating this one then?
You know what? I'm going quite low with this one. I was really disappointed.
Go on.
Oh, I'm giving it a 2.
Oh, it's a 2. It's been a while since you've given something a 2.
Probably years, in fact.
Yeah.
1.
Okay, so determined to keep demon doll Annabelle from wreaking more havoc, paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren lock the possessed doll in the artifacts room in their house. But when the doll awakens, the room's evil spirits do too, and it soon becomes an unholy night of terror for the couple's 10-year-old daughter and her friends and their babysitter. This, of course, is Annabelle Comes Home.
It's all about that little giggle in the background, isn't it?
Oh, I didn't even hear that.
You didn't hear it?
Oh, you're so so attuned to the horror.
Yeah, I feel like every time I think Annabelle, I just hear that little giggle.
I kind of maybe tried to block it out.
Anyway, I love the Annabelle movies, although the second one, not so sure about. But this is more kind of a horror, right?
Yeah.
It's more horror.
Horror. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So you really enjoyed the first one, right?
Yeah.
And do you enjoy the Conjuring movies in general?
Loved Conjuring, although I did sleep with the light on for about a week.
Brilliant. Well, Annabelle, for anyone who doesn't know, comes from the Conjuring movie franchise. So basically the horror equivalent to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if you want to put it into some sort of perspective. This is actually the 7th movie of that franchise,
Is
believe it or
it?
not. I know, because it doesn't feel like it launched that long ago. And just when you think it's kind of exhausted itself, it brings out another scary movie. So the thing is, the way I kind of see this is the 3rd Annabelle movie of that spin-off, okay? So if you're going to go and watch this movie and you liked the first one as you did, Harpz, you're going to then check out the second one, and maybe that didn't quite float your boat, but you're a fan of Annabelle in itself, right? So that's why you're going to go and watch this movie.
Exactly.
You know what you're going to get from it. Scary doll, lots of scary things happen, different scenarios. So if you remember Ed and Lorraine Warren from this movie and also all the Conjurings, the really scary thing about all this is that they were real people. Annabelle is a real doll locked up in.
I don't even know why I'm laughing. It's quite, yeah, go on.
I know. So, and that for me is what always keeps me on edge with this movie. It's pretty much set completely in the Warren's house over one night. I don't know if this particular scenario actually happened, but it's a bit like the Amityville Horror in that way. So you know, everything just happens.
Well.
I know. Yeah, everything happens in that one house. So it's predictable in terms of its narrative because you kind of know what you're going to get, but you can't help but still wince in parts.
God, so like you said, this is the 3rd Annabelle film.
Yeah.
Right. Are we actually going into this movie then just knowing what we're getting, having seen the first and second?
Do you know what? It still is a doll that captures everyone's imagination.
Yeah.
So they're going to take it in a slightly different direction. What I thought was really interesting about this is the first half of this movie, in fact, the first 2/3 of this movie, I was sat there gripping my jacket and just, it's that kind of like, don't go down in the basement kind of
don't
feel.
do it.
Don't do
Don't
it.
do
And
it.
weirdly, the 3rd act of this movie is where I was least scared. So
Okay.
it gets you from the beginning.
Yeah.
It builds you up, and then you go, there's got to be a conclusion to this. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. So if you are a fan of Annabelle, you will go and want to watch this. If you've watched the past 2 movies and you've been a bit like, meh, then I think you're probably going to want to sit this one out. But overall, it's got all the scares you need. And for me, that's what works in this day and age where it's such a competitive environment for horror movies. So it's okay. It's an okay horror movie.
All right. What does okay mean in terms of rating?
I'm still going to give it a recommendation.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it 3 stars.
All
It's
right.
just not, suddenly shooting us back into the top realms of the Conjuring universe, I don't think.
Well, 3's not bad. I
No,
feel
not
like
at all.
I do still want to watch it now,
Yeah.
having seen the first and second.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I
you should
probably
do.
will go check it out. All right. Well, thank you very much for a brand new watch list.
You're
Bex.
very welcome.
Asian Network.